Okay, diving fans, welcome back to Midland, Texas, for the Winter National Diving Championship 2025 by USA Diving. This is the men's 10-meter platform final. 12 men competing across 6 rounds for the gold medal in this event. Of course, the 10-meter platform, the Olympic high board discipline. Divers coming down from the height of almost a 4-story building, hitting the water at 37 miles per hour. Start list on the screen in front of you, and the divers will be competing in reverse order based on the results from the preliminary contested this morning. And so kicking off this final, it's going to be Misha Andriuk, the diver from California, diving for Stanford. And Misha is coming out here trying some brand new difficult dives for the first time at a national championship. Wasting no time when it comes to difficulty. This is an arm stand to kick off his contest. An arm stand back double somersault with 2.5 twists from Misha, and you can see just in the air there, the legs separating, so much G-force on the body through those 2.5 twists. Judges will be deducting. So 5s and 5.5 from the judges for a 55.8 to kick off this final. Grant Cates now forward 3.5 somersaults pike. And the running approach on the platform used to generate extra momentum. Even though that platform is high, divers only in the air for about 1.5 seconds. Not a great deal of time to complete 3.5 and 4.5 rotations, so using those run-ups for a little bit of extra power. Ray Prees choosing a reverse 3.5 somersaults tuck to start his contest. And not a bad effort at all. Just a little bit short of vertical on the bottom of the dive. Want to see a little bit more height generated from the platform. Just a little bit rushed off the top, but managed to come in almost vertical at the bottom. As we turn the attention to Nathaniel Granis of Dominion Dive Club. Inward 3.5 somersaults tuck. Standing backwards, rotating forwards towards the platform. And already, second final of the week for Nathaniel. He featured in the men's 3-meter springboard yesterday. And this is a fantastic inward 3.5 somersaults to kick off his campaign here tonight. Another running takeoff here from Tanner Bronson. 7th place in this event last year in 2024. And a good start from Tanner. Good entry into the water in terms of the splash, but not quite finding the vertical line. So of course, to see the highest awards from the judges, the 7s, the 8s and the 9s, you really want to find that vertical lineup into the water. And now his teammate, Derek Colbert, both training at Mizzou in Columbia, Missouri. This is a really unique twisting dive to begin the round. Back 3.5 somersaults with half twist. You do not see many of these. And it's actually more of a somersaulting dive than it is a twisting dive. You can see just at the top here, wraps into that half twist, and then he's somersaulting forwards throughout the rest of the dive. Always cool to see people try unique dives in these diving finals. And now the youngest finalist from Ripfest. This is Leighton Dean, 16 years of age. And a really good start to the contest from Leighton. A back 2.5 somersaults with 1.5 twists. Rips that entry. And he's off to a good start. Qualified to this final in 6th place. And here is one of the platform diving heavyweights, Josh Hedberg. Made a couple of major mistakes in the preliminaries that we were not used to seeing, so has some work to do in this final if he wants to climb back into the podium positions. And really attacks that first dive. An inward 3.5 somersaults tuck. Really aggressive takeoff, completing the triple rotation. Nice and high, comes around, and a good entry for 76.8 points. A long way to go. Maxwell Weinrich. Performing an arm stand dive, a forward double somersault. And just disappears out of sight. Now this dive does have a lower degree of difficulty because it's only 2 somersaults, but with near perfect scores from the judges. Maxwell Weinrich, 9s and 8.5s, shows us the best dive so far in terms of execution. Carson Tyler also choosing an arm stand, but this time much more difficult. A double somersault with 2.5 twists. And it just looked like he was not able to generate enough power on the takeoff, so lands very short of vertical. And that is a miss for Carson Tyler in the first round here. Of course, a Team USA Olympian in this platform event from Paris. And now your second place qualifier to the final, Andrew Bennett from the University of Minnesota, forward 3.5 somersaults in pike. And makes it look effortless in the air. Nice aggressive takeoff, spinning fast, finds the upright lineup. We saw him in practice really get a disappearing act entry. But it's a good start for Andrew, who picked up the bronze medal in this event last year. As we look to the top qualifier, Jordan Rzepka, the only man to go above 400 points in this morning's preliminary. And the point will carry over from that contest this morning, so Jordan has a head start in this final. And he is such a powerful diver, completing the 3 rotations above the 5 meter. It almost looks like he could do 4.5 somersaults. But kicking off this final where he left off, Jordan Rzepka hoping to maintain his position in this final. And he has just under 45 points as a buffer from the rest of the field. Beginning round 2 with Misha Andriuk, a finalist in the NCAA D1 National Championship 2025. And the work in the air was excellent. Misha's just been struggling a little bit to find the rip entries today. Throwing up some splash there at the bottom. 7 judges on these diving panels. The 3 median scores added together, multiplied by the dive's difficulty to give the total score for the round. And there's Ray Prees, who actually qualified for this event just a couple of days ago on Thursday. And this is his first time in the national senior final after making the semi-final in Auburn just a few months ago. And this is a solid back 3.5 somersaults tuck from Ray. Apologies on the previous diver. That was Grant Cates. The same dive now from Nathaniel Granis. 18 years old. Competed for the USA at the Canada Cup and the American Cup this year. And so much potential on this back 3.5 somersaults. Good takeoff. Spots his rotations well. 1, 2, 3, just a little bit early on the come out. But showing potential to score the highest marks with that technique. Tanner Braunton. And Tanner goes way past vertical on this reverse 3.5 somersaults tuck. That takeoff was fantastic. Gets into a nice quick rotation. But he kicks to the sky. And when that happens, the only thing left is to fly past vertical. So that is a big miss for Tanner in the second round. Derek Colbert doing an IMD 3.5 somersaults tuck. This is his first senior national final. Started his diving career in Dallas, at Dallas Metroplex Diving. And another dive that just goes past vertical. Just looked not so confident releasing from the somersaults there. And same dive from Leighton Dean of Ripfest. Actually a junior national champion in this pool in 2022. This is his first senior final. And he's diving with great confidence. Really liked the pike out technique. Coming around from those rotations. Really good, confident rotation stop. Just want to see him catch the eyesight of the water a little bit longer before lining up. And Josh Hedberg, World Championship medalist from Singapore this year in the synchronized event with Carson Tyler. And big improvements from his dive this morning. That is how you do that particular dive. There's not much room for error. You really begin to run out of room after 2.5 twists, but Josh does well to square around and line up for a rip entry. 2 rounds, 2 good dives for Josh Hedberg, as Max Weinrich prepares for his forward 3.5 pike. And just like the first round, Maxwell Weinrich out of sight at the bottom of that dive. And another dive with the judges throwing up 9s. So impressive from Maxwell Weinrich, the gold medalist from the American Cup in 2025, and you can see why. Now Carson Tyler looking to brush off that round 1 miss with his IMD 3.5. And it is a much better effort. Still a little bit past vertical. For a score of 56 points. Has quite a lot of work to do to claw his way back up to the top spots, but if there's anyone who has the ability, it is Carson Tyler. Now Andrew Bennett. From Wisconsin, began his USA diving journey at Brown Deer, which is near Milwaukee. And Drew Bennett goes above 70 points with a 73.60, and looking good so far as he tries to improve on his bronze medal from last year. Now our leader, Jordan Rzepka. Arm stand back double with 1.5 twists. And really taking his time on the 10 meter to hold that arm stand and concentrate. He makes this dive look so easy. One of the fastest twisters on the USA diving scene. And it really gives him a lot of time to come around and judge the entry. And the live scores on screen now. Rzepka maintains the lead with Andrew Bennett in second. Big round from Joshua Hedberg sees him now just 18 points behind Andrew. Kicking us off in the third round, Misha Andriuk with a back 3.5 tuck. Diving runs in the Andriuk family. His father Oleg, national team diver for Ukraine. And Misha showing a diving display so much better than he did in the prelim this morning. Sometimes when the preliminary doesn't go your way, you're in a mood to redeem yourself in the final, and Misha is doing that so far. Great dive. Grant Cates. Performing an IMID 3.5 here. Leaves it just a little bit short of vertical. Confident kick out. Just a little bit early. Kicking up some splash. Would have just liked to see him keep the balance over the platform a little bit more on the takeoff. Ray Prees. Prepares for the arm stand dive. And across these 6 rounds of diving, the men will perform 1 dive per dive category. Forward rotations, backwards, inwards, reverse, followed by the twist and handstands. And it just looked like Ray got a little bit stuck on his twist here. Wasn't twisting very fast, so he did not have a lot of time at the bottom of the dive. You can see communication with the coach. Coach-diver relationship, really important in the sport of diving. Coaches are with you every step of the way. And this reverse 2.5 tuck from Daniel Granis had so much potential. Amazing takeoff from the platform. And honestly, looks like he should be adding a rotation because that dive was always going over a vertical. Just 2.5 somersaults, and he made the double way above the 7 meter. Tanner Braunton. Back 3.5 tuck. And again, a dive that looked from my angle like it was going to disappear, but just didn't manage to reach back all the way on the end. He throws up a bit of splash with the back. The margins in diving between dives that score 5s and 6s and 8s and 9s is so small. Very tiny details make all the difference. Derek Colbert, back arm stand double with half a twist. And this is one of those dives with a slightly lower degree of difficulty, but Derek manages to find a fantastic lineup. And he is going to be happy with that one. All smiles. Good rip entry. As the youngster, Leighton Dean, prepares for a forward 3.5 pike. Leighton has fantastic diving fundamentals, and great to see him in this men's national final. One to watch out for in the future. Okay, back to Josh Hedberg now, trying to defend his national title in this event. Reverse 3.5 tuck. And a great diving display from Josh. Doesn't quite find the entry he was looking for. Splash coming up there at the bottom. And 3 more rounds after this one to close that gap on the leaders. And let's see what Maxwell Weinrich can do here. those first two dives, scoring 9s from the judges. And that perfect entry streak coming to an end on this IMID 3.5 from Maxwell. Took a gold medal at the Bolzano Invitational in Italy this year in the 10-meter event. And now the 4.5 somersault dive from Carson Tyler. This is a truly difficult dive. And I said in the last round he needed a good dive if he wants to catch the top 3. And that is the dive of the day for Carson. Massive score of 88.8. That is exactly what he needed. He still has a lot of work to do, but that will help. And here is one of the divers who he is trying to catch. Andrew Bennett made his national team debut this year at the Canada Cup. And just on this arm stand takeoff, kind of falls away from the platform. Just want to see, generate a little bit more vertical push through the arms. That's going to help the control at the bottom of the dive. And Jordan Rzepka with a reverse 3.5 tuck. Still has a healthy lead coming into this round. This dive to mark the halfway point of the competition. If you're just joining us, we're live in Midland, Texas from the men's 10-meter platform national final. And this is so great to see from Jordan. He's diving with so much confidence today. 8 across the board from the judges, and these backwards and reverse entry dives, you can tell he's been working so hard over the last season on them. Big improvements from Jordan Rzepka, and that lead just grows to almost 80 points over Andrew Bennett, who is trying to hold off Josh Hedberg and Carson Tyler with 3 rounds to go. Misha Andriuk, that fantastic back 3.5 in round 3. What can he do with the reverse 3.5? And Misha showing everybody what he is made of. Another dive of the highest quality here. More 8s and 8.5s across the board. Almost impossible for him to catch up to the top 3 based on the preliminary rankings, but a fantastic final for Andriuk so far. Now this back dive in the pike from Grant Cates is what we call a voluntary dive. Low degree of difficulty, and just shows us that he hasn't fully perfected his optional dive in the backwards category yet. So that's definitely something he'll be working on in practice to increase the degree of difficulty over the next few seasons. And Ray Preece with his in 3.5 tuck, just slightly twisted towards the judges on the takeoff. Want to see a little bit more square, throwing right in the platform line. And Nathaniel Granis will run into this forward 3.5 somersaults. And that is the best dive of the evening for Nathaniel. Makes that dive look effortless in the air, nice and fast rotations, has a good spot on the water, and finds that nice vertical line. And now the most difficult dive we have seen from Tanner Braunton is a 3.6 degree of difficulty. That back arm stand, double with 2.5 twists. And just running out of room at the bottom of the dive. That dive looks like it has a lot of potential for him in the future, if he can get the takeoff a little bit more powerful. Derek Colbert had a good arm stand in the last round. His forward 3.5 attempt. And when the diver prepares, it's so quiet in the venue, you can really hear the diver attack the end of the platform on those running takeoffs. It's a massive thud. You can feel it around the venue. Turning that forward power into vertical momentum. Back to Leighton Dean of Ripfest. The reverse 2.5 somersaults tuck. A really good tuck position in the air. That's what the judges like to see in the tuck. Squeezing in nice and tight. Just not the most confident kick out. Want to see him look over his toes to help guide that lineup into the water. And Josh Hedberg steps up for the back 3.5 pike. Most divers doing this in the tuck position. Josh opting for the more difficult version in pike. He made a major mistake on this in the preliminary. Landed flat on his back. And same mistake again in this final. The takeoff is really good and he's spinning fast. Maybe just an issue with the spotting on that dive. Coming out way too early. Needs to hold on and place his feet towards the ceiling. As Maxwell Weinrich prepares for the reverse 2.5 tuck. And Maxwell Weinrich has pulled off the first dive of this final with 10s from the judges. They are not going to count, as you need at least 3 10s for one to count towards the total score. But wow, Maxwell Weinrich, that's 3 out of his 4 dives in this final that have scored 9s or above from the judges. And here's a diver also capable of diving to that level. Adding a rotation now is his 3.5 reverse somersaults. And it's a really good opportunity to see risk versus reward. This reverse 3.5 somersaults has 6/10 degree of difficulty more than the 2.5 somersaults, but Maxwell Weinrich scoring more total points based on the fantastic execution of that round. And Andrew Bennett follows Carson Tyler with the same dive. And this reverse 3.5 from Andrew. A little bit slow in the rotations. But one thing he did do right was kick out at the right moment. He found the upright lineup. Some deductions based on the takeoff and the speed of rotation. But by no means a major miss for Andrew. As we look to Jordan Rzepka to close out the 4th round. And not quite as good as the reverse 3.5 in the round before from Jordan. Just a little bit early on the release from the somersaults. And just arches the back a little bit too much going through the water to pull the entry into a rip. But no stress for Jordan Rzepka with that ginormous lead with 2 rounds to go. And all of a sudden, Maxwell Weinrich is hot on the heels of Andrew Bennett. He's now in 3rd. Carson Tyler and Josh Hedberg in 4th and 5th place. And Misha Andriuk, who started this final in the bottom spot of 12th, all the way up to 6th place now. And he will kick us off in round 5. Back 2.5 somersaults, 2.5 twists.
And another fantastic dive from Misha. It looked like he was going to run out of room from my angle because the takeoff didn't jump so high, but he was working so hard all the way down and gets a great entry into the water. What a comeback Misha is having from that prelim this morning. So impressive. Grant Cates. With a much more difficult dive in this round than the previous one. Arm stand back double with 1.5 twists. And that's a really impressive dive from Grant. One of his best dives of this whole day. And some good marks from the judges, keeping 7s for a 67.2. Ray Prees, forward 3.5 pike. Here at the Com Aquatic Center in Midland, Texas. Birthplace of President Bush. And a great forward 3.5 pike from Grant. Nathaniel. Arm stand back double with 1.5 twists. We're used to seeing him on the 3-meter springboard. So great to see him joining the action in the platform final. And just a little bit shorter vertical on this arm stand twister from Nathaniel. Just needs to attack the takeoff a little bit more. And now Tanner Braunton back 2.5 somersaults with 1.5 twists. And that is how you do it. Really good diving display from Tanner on this back twister. Finds a really strong rip entry. Looks like he could even add a twist to this dive and do that really difficult. Back 2.5 with 2.5 twists in the future. Derek Colbert, 10th place in this event last year. Looking to improve in this final here today. And with dives like that, you can be sure he's going to finish higher than that 10th place this year. Fantastic. Back 3.5 from Derek Colbert for 74.25 points. Smiles for the camera. He knows that was a good one.
And we spoke about this with Grant Cates earlier. Leighton is choosing the back dive pike, one of the voluntary dives. Still needs a little bit more work back in training before he's ready to perform a back optional. But really good back dive, finds a very clean rip entry and good execution marks. And now Josh Hedberg, currently outside the medal positions and needs these last 2 rounds to be good to get back to where he wants to be. Forward 4.5 somersaults with tuck. And he gave it a good go, but does land short of vertical. Didn't quite have enough time to fit the rotations in at the bottom. Looked like he could have just got a little bit more height on the takeoff. And here is a diver who is suddenly in the mix for the medals. Comes into this 5th round in 3rd place, off the back of a near perfect reverse 2.5 tuck. This is a back 3.5 tuck. And unfortunately for Maxwell, he cannot keep that momentum going. We saw earlier in the year he performed this dive and scored some 10s, winning the Royal Caribbean Dive of the Day back in Auburn. And maybe now an open door for Carson Tyler to come back into the top 3. This is a back 3.5 tuck, same dive as Maxwell. And not a lot of splash from Carson Tyler, but not quite finding the absolute upright entry needed to score the 8s and 9s. 7s and 6.5s from the judges for a 66. As Andrew Bennett of the University of Minnesota steps up for another back 3.5 tuck. And it's, again, not the cleanest entry into the water, but so far today, there's been no disasters from Andrew. He's been very, very consistent. And with a 64.35, he is our first diver above 700 points. After 11 dives. And Jordan Rezepka could wrap up this whole national championship final with this forward 4.5. And it's a great effort. Spinning fast, comes out at the right time. Just needs to be a little bit quicker at the bottom of the dive to line his body all the way up into the straight line.
And if he managed to score some 8s and 9s there, he would have sealed the deal. But he still has one more dive left. A massive buffer from the rest of the field. It looks like Jordan Rzepka is on his way with a very, very interesting fight for the silver and bronze medal unfolding here. Misha Andriuk. Just a fantastic comeback. So far, the lowest points coming into this final. Almost didn't even make the final. And after so many good rounds, that is the first major mistake from Misha. Hats off to him. He's been working so hard on increasing the degree of difficulty. And showing lots of potential here today in Midland. As Grant Cates turns around for his final dive. Back 2.5 somersaults with 1.5 twists. And really good work at the bottom of the dive. The takeoff was a little bit slow, so he had to work really hard in that pike shape to get it all the way around. But closes this out with a 59.2. Now Ray Prees. Another twisting dive. And this time, forward twist. Forward 2.5 with 2 twists. And so much going on in that forward 2.5 with 2 twists, the double in. Just wanted to see him attack the takeoff with a little bit more vertical direction. Help the control of the dive. But again, first senior final for Ray, and a good showing. Lots of divers choosing the twister in the final round. Normally high degree of difficulty and a good chance to pick up lots of points in the final round. Nathaniel's doing back 2.5 with 1.5 twists. And really good way to end this meet from the man from the Minion Dive Club. Made the final in both the 3-meter springboard and the 10-meter platform. Showing his ability as a diver all around. And these individual competitions conclude tomorrow with the women's 3-meter springboard final and the men's 1-meter before 2 days of synchronized diving taking place on Monday and Tuesday. Tanner Bronson of Mizzou finishing up with a 60.8 on this in 3.5 tuck. All smiles. And his teammate Derek Colbert
produced some really good dives today. And this is a reverse 2.5 tuck. Really, really solid stuff from Derek Colbert. And his execution marks getting better and better. Even an 8 in there from one of the judges. What a way to go home. Signs his name on the camera. Well done, Derek Colbert. And now here's a bold move, finishing your dive list with an arm stand. Most of the divers choosing to get it out the way earlier in the contest. Leighton choosing to use it as his last dive. And really good effort from Leighton Dean. You know, normally by the end of the final, your arms and your wrists begin to get sore, so to have the strength to do an arm stand after a long day of platform diving, that's a great effort from Leighton. Youngest diver in the event, just 16 years of age. And now the final dive for Josh Hedberg. World bronze medalist this year. Not his greatest day at the pool, but a really, really solid back 2.5 to finish. Wraps those arms across the body, twisting nice and fast and giving himself a good amount of time to line that one up. Finishing with a total score of 736 across 2 lists. And now our final few divers as we look to decide the medals here. The race for bronze and silver is on. Max Weinrich back 2.5 with 1.5 twists. And rips the entry, considering the landing was shorter vertical. So it's not always about the amount of splash. For the judges, you can see lower scores of 5s because he did not find that vertical line on the bottom. And Josh Hedberg Carson Tyler. Will this be a late push for the medals? Back 2.5. Oh, and that is some fantastic diving from Carson Tyler, the Olympian in this 10-meter platform event. A really strong final 2 dives. This one goes 81 points. Jumping ahead of Weinrich and Hedberg. So Carson Tyler guaranteed a medal. And now it's up to Andrew Bennett and Jordan Rzepka to see which color. This is a massive moment for Andrew Bennett. His best result at a national championship this time last year, bronze medal in this event, has the opportunity now to go one better. With this back 2.5 somersaults, 1.5 twists. And he's been diving with so much confidence throughout this day and finishes off with a fantastic
Back 2.5 with 1.5 twists for 72 points. Andrew Bennett goes into first place temporarily with one man left on the platform. And that is Jordan Rzepka with the hardest dive of this contest. A massive degree of difficulty of 3.8. Forward 2.5 somersaults with 3 twists. This for the gold medal. And Jordan Rzepka smashes it out of the park with the highest scoring dive of the whole contest. 95 points on that forward 2.5 with 3 twists. He hasn't only won, he has won by a mile. Fantastic work, Jordan Rzepka. He will be your gold medalist here in Midland. Final results on your screen now. Rzepka, gold medal. An amazing silver medal from Andrew Bennett of the University of Minnesota. Carson Tyler makes a late comeback for the bronze. We will be back in Midland tomorrow for the women's 3-meter championship finals and the men's 1-meter springboard. Don't go anywhere, as we are just moments away from the podium ceremony for the women's 1-meter springboard final. Here are some of the highlights from the men's 10-meter platform final, just concluded here in Midland, Texas. A contest full of drama, full of action, and some unexpected results here in Midland.